So a little while ago, I moved to Texas, and it was a decision. Okay, now just like the thought of moving to Texas was just like kind of interesting to me because we'd only like visited Texas, and although we had family in Texas, I haven't had any sort of like long-term experiences in Texas itself. But all of that would change whenever we moved here a few months ago, back in like October, November or something, right? And, well, after being here for a few months and experiencing things, I am going to now compile a video of 10 reasons why you should not move to Texas while I'm cooking burritos in the oven. Because I'm cooking burritos in the oven, and this is 10 reasons why you should not move to Texas. Subscribe. Number 10. The views, okay? Now, whenever you're like living somewhere out in, nature, and probably in the US, maybe even the UK, I have a lot of UK subscribers. Whenever you're living somewhere, whenever you're looking outside your window, you want to see something nice. You want to see something pretty. In Texas, at least where I am, it's not exactly like that. Now, I know you could live down in Corpus Christi by the water, but that's not where we're at. We're like up in the top of Texas, okay? And over here, it's just dead grass and flat, okay? Now, I've kind of become accustomed to not flat places because I've lived in Arizona, New Mexico, and North Carolina. I've lived in a lot of places with mountains. That's not to say I've lived anywhere without mountains. I have. But even New Hampshire I lived in, that had huge mountains. So, I've grown used to mountains, okay? Moving here, flat as shit, okay? Whenever you look, you can see the Eiffel Tower from here. It's so flat. Like, it's just nothing. There is no hills, no mountains. It is just flat and dead. It is tan and dead and gray and very sunny. But just looking outside, it's not inviting. You just want to stay inside, which is probably your best option because there is nothing here to do. At least in my case. Leaves out another 9. Leaves out another 9. Leaves out another 9. Texas is just boring. Like, on Saturdays, it's like our main family day to go out. There's nothing to do. We're just bored. Okay, we'll go get some from Starbucks. We'll go to a bookstore. We can't even go to a public library. Well, one, because it's close to, the thing that's around. But two, just because the libraries are so boring here. Like, it's just so uninviting. I'm just going to be honest and put it out there. Texas is uninviting. Number 8, the accents. Country accents. It's a thing. I don't actually have a problem, but I need to fill up this list. This should have been a top 5, but I made it a top 10 because that sounded cooler. It's not, trust me. I actually have nothing wrong with the accents. In fact, North Carolina accents were worse. What am I, do I have a list now? They were worse in North Carolina, the accents that they had there, which was like kind of Texas and like kind of Louisiana. But you just have to get used to Texas accents. Yeah. Number 7 reason why not to move to Texas, because the place you're already in right now is probably better than Texas. I can't think of a state besides like New Jersey or Louisiana that could be worse than Texas. Maybe even New Mexico, because I just don't like New Mexico. I have a true hatred for New Jersey, but New Mexico is a close second. Wherever you are right now, it is most likely better than where anything can offer in Texas. I'm sure there's pretty parts of Texas, but if you're just gonna move to like around Central Texas, maybe even like Dallas or Houston, even like it's just the place you're already in. It's like probably has either better areas in state or wherever you are right now, probably better. And I also say that like there is just an absurd limit like of coffee, okay? Now, I'm probably gonna make a whole video on this, but I love coffee. Coffee is the best thing ever. Are these burning? They're not, okay. Coffee is the best thing ever. And Texas does not provide a good selection of local coffee shops. In fact, I think all they have is something called Scooters and Starbucks. And I think there's one Dunkin' Donuts in like a 20-mile radius, okay? I'm a big Dunkin' Donuts fan, okay? Large oat milk latte with blueberry. That's my jam, okay? They barely have any Dunkin' Donuts here. They don't have pretty much anything local. And if they do, it feels like there's no heart in it. Like, we need some coffee in Texas, please. Like, I'm on the verge of ordering coffee online. Like, this is ridiculous. I'm using instant coffee. I mean, I usually use instant coffee, but, I mean, to any coffee lovers out there, using instant coffee is not good. Texas needs to step up their coffee game. Number 5, I think it's number 5. Number 5, the size. Texas is known as one of the biggest states in the United States. Alaska might be bigger. I think it's bigger, but Texas is referred to as the biggest state. And it will take you years to get out of Texas. No matter how fast you drive and how consistent, no matter how many times you don't take a piss break, you will never get out of Texas on a road trip. I don't care if you take the shortest map, that meaning that like you take a plane halfway across a valley and go in like a F1 race car, like a drag race. I don't care how fast you think you're gonna go. You're never gonna get out of Texas. It's too big, and it takes up too much of the U.S. Texas needs to be at least 3 states separated. I don't care if it's T, X, and S. Just split it up, please. It's too big, too much to explore. You could travel for 3 days and you would still be visiting in your own state that you live in. It's terrible. Next thing. Number 4, I guess, population. There are so many people, especially in like big super centers like Houston and Dallas-Fort Worth area. There's just too many people. Those need to be split up into like 4 different towns. There should be a set limit to how many people should be in each town because there are so many people here. It is insane how busy the highways can get. Just on like a Tuesday, you're just trying to go get a drink out and there is so much traffic because why is there so many people in Dallas and Houston and Texas in general? I'm skipping number 3 and 2 and I'm just moving on to what I really want to get through. Number 1, the weather. Okay, during the summers it's blatantly hot. Okay, it's dry here because it's in the desert. Okay, and Texas and all the states in the desert are known for their heat. Okay, you think Texas, you think hot, but what you don't think of is that during the night, when there is no sun, the desert becomes the coldest place you can be. Okay, so in Texas at night, whenever, especially in the winter, I'm sure you've seen what recently happened. We had like a huge ass blizzard. It was terrible. I spent like a whole night in my living room without power, inhaling smoke because our fireplace is broken. Okay, why? Texas, fix your weather. Like, it's unbearably cold at night, but then unbearably hot during the day in the summer. I mean, I have to give it to Texas. During the day in the winter, it can be really nice. There's a nice breeze. You get the nice sunshine. You feel rejuvenated. It's warm, but not terribly hot. But then like during the summer and the spring, which we're in spring at this point because it's March, this is gonna be terribly hot. No, I don't want terribly hot. I want to be by the water if it's going to be terribly hot, and we're nowhere near that. Honorable mention, Texas talks too much about Louisiana. This could have been number 3 or 2, but I just forgot about it. So I've seen more Louisiana and I love Louisiana signs in Texas than I have seen representation of the own state that I'm in. Like, in gift stores and stuff, all I see is Louisiana signs. I'm starting to think I'm in Louisiana. Shit, they could have doubled the size of Louisiana and split the rest of Texas off into Louisiana and like just not had Texas so big, and Texas would still be like the biggest state. Like, it's ridiculous, but they only talk about Louisiana here. It's like everyone in Texas is from Louisiana, and all they can think about is Louisiana, which coincidentally, Louisiana is like my least favorite state because of how incredibly hot and moistury it is there. Moistury isn't a word. Moist? Humid. It's terribly humid there, especially during the summer. I hate Louisiana. Louisiana should just be cut off from the rest of America and shipped to China. Anyways, those are the 10 reasons why you should not move to Texas. That is all. Please do not move here. It sucks. I'm moving to Florida. Peace.